Effective speech delivery. I got up from my seat and started walking towards the front of the room. I could feel every eye just staring at me, and by the time I finally made it to the podium, I froze. I couldn't catch my breath because I was so nervous, and I just couldn't get the words to come out of my mouth. Has something like this ever happened to you? That you just get so scared when you have to talk in front of an audience? Well, it happens to the best of us. And right now, I will give you a few pointers on how you can prepare yourself to give a great, effective speech. Just always remember that you must prepare yourself mentally, prepare yourself physically, and always speak confidently. Before you decide what topic you will do your speech on, you must first mentally prepare yourself to speak. Imagine yourself giving an amazing speech. This allows the concept of giving a speech to be not so foreign, and you can actually imagine yourself doing it. Always be prepared for things to go differently than you planned. If you tell a joke, be prepared for the audience not to laugh. If you ask for volunteers, no one may participate. And there's always the possibility of the room having technical difficulties. If you plan to use a computer during your speech, be prepared for that computer not to work and for you to have to deliver your speech without the computer. Always be aware of different audiences. Choose your words carefully. Use language that everyone can understand. Avoid using slang terms. Not all your audience will know what they mean. Use multiple approaches to get your point across. This simply means to just mix up your wording a little bit. Not everyone learns and not everyone understands the same way. Do not say things that may potentially offend different cultures, religions, or backgrounds. If you have something to say that touches up on one of those topics, you might want to just brush over it, because the last thing you want is for someone in your audience to be offended. Always keep your mind on the speech. Do not think about how you look. You have so many things going on in your mind. The last thing you need is to think about how the audience thinks that you look at that moment. Stay focused on what you're saying. It is important that you worry about your speech, worry about your points. That helps you not to stumble on your words and for you not to lose your thought process. Once you have become mentally aware of all the things you might face while giving a speech, it's time to actually prepare the speech. Pick a topic that you care a lot about. Brainstorm and pick the one that you have the most to talk about, the one that you feel most strongly about. This, above all, gives you a starting point. It makes you not have to start from scratch. It's already something that you feel strongly about. It's already something that you know. This also helps build credibility so that the audience knows, they didn't just pick a topic out of the blue. They actually picked something that they care about. It also helps to pull in the audience. When the audience sees and hears your passion, it makes them want to hear what you have to say next. Make an outline. Choose the structure that you want your speech to have. Whether it be in steps, like if you were doing a how-to speech, you would do your speech in steps. Step 1, step 2, step 3. However, if your speech is more of telling a personal account of something that happened to you, you would do it in chronological order. This allows your speech to be organized. The last thing you want is to get up there in front of an audience full of people and not to be organized. This also helps build credibility because it shows preparation. It shows the audience that you didn't just wake up this morning and decide, I'm going to talk to them about my topic. Create visual aids. Visual aids main point is to highlight main points. You don't want anything too flashy. It should just be bullet points with few words. The last thing you want is your audience to not pay attention to what you're saying and just reading from your visual aid. It should not distract from the speaker. Make personal note cards. Note cards are only for you. Write down things that you don't want to forget to say. If you have an important point to make, write it down so that it doesn't just skip over your mind in the process of speaking. Make note of the sources that you use so that you do not forget to mention them. It also helps build credibility with your audience because they don't think, oh, they're using someone else's work. Know the delivery room. If possible, visit the delivery room before you give your speech. It helps prepare you mentally for the audience size. It helps you know how loud you will have to speak. It allows you to see where your visual aids will have to go, and it lets you know if technology is in the room. Warm up your voice. Practice your speech out loud. It allows you to become comfortable with the speech, and it also allows your voice to become comfortable with the words that you're going to be saying. Try to avoid using and This tells the audience that you've kind of lost your train of thought. It is just a space filler. Repeat tongue twisters. Get your voice warmed up by saying difficult things. You can find great YouTube videos on tongue twisters.
And of course, last but not least, if you don't feel like you're warm at this point, or you want to do a little bit more, or perhaps you have just a fancy for tongue twisters, there are numerous lengthy tongue twisters that are available for you to say. And it might not be a bad idea. Maybe you do your whole vocal warm-up before your presentation or before your audition or before you go on stage. But you have a little time in between that warm-up time and when you're actually speaking, you might want to run a few tongue twisters out loud. And tongue twisters, as you know, are lengthy phrases that utilize a specific consonant over and over again. And they're especially good to use and consider if you're having trouble with one specific consonant. Like you might want to do, Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. If Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, then where's the peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked? That's one of your choices. But there are numerous others that are readily available. If you don't know any or you can't find any, just do a Google search on the internet and you'll be able to pull up a lot of them. That is one specific one. Another excellent one to work on is how much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? And that one goes on even longer, but that's an excellent one to work on. So if you do all of these things and follow it up with a tongue twister, you should have a very warmed up voice, which is what you want prior to any speech or audition or any kind of acting activity.
Now that you have mentally and physically prepared yourself, it's time to get your confidence up. Dress appropriately. This automatically makes you feel good about yourself. It helps you not to worry about your appearance and helps you to stay focused on the things that you're actually saying. This also shows the audience that you're professional, that you mean business. Never, ever back down. Know what you're talking about. Be passionate when trying to get your point across. This shows the audience that you are serious about the things you are saying. Like I said earlier, when the audience knows and sees your passion, it helps them pull into what you're saying. It draws them in. Be passionate and know what you're talking about, and it'll really get your audience to hear what you're saying. Watch your tone, rate, and rhythm. Talking in a steady rhythm helps calm you down and helps you get comfortable in the front of the room. Switch up your tone for funny, serious, and important moments. This keeps the audience engaged, which in turn boosts your confidence. Be aware of the rate that you're speaking. Talking too fast could completely lose your audience, but yet talking too slow could bore them and cause them to think about other things besides what you are saying. Practice your speech multiple times. This allows you to become comfortable with what you were going to say. It gives you a chance to work out areas that you find didn't exactly flow. It helps you determine the correct word choices. Say that you're practicing your speech out loud and at one point you just become blank on a word to use that you need to put there. Practicing your speech allows you to work out all those little minor kinks. It also allows you to perfect your speech, which in turn really boosts your confidence. Because if you get to the front of that room and you have practiced over and over again, you know your speech, you're confident in your speech. So always remember, prepare mentally, prepare physically, and speak confidently. It's okay to stumble. Just pick up where you left off. You might not always get the exact response that you were wanting from the audience, but if you prepare yourself in all the ways that you possibly could have to give a great, effective speech, no matter what the audience says or how the audience reacts, you should always be proud.